Hey everyone, welcome to the channel. All things Middle Earth here with a quick video guide talking about how to gear and skill the Shadow, who is seeing, I think, some of his best use ever in the game. Don't get me wrong, he had some amazing builds before, but I feel like he's just a beast in 2.0. So if you're interested in how to properly build your Shadow, stay tuned. That's coming up in just 1 second. All right, very quickly before I start, two things. If you are enjoying the Rise to War content, or especially videos like this, hit that like button because A, it lets me know that you guys like this kind of stuff and I can keep cranking out the guide videos. And B, it lets YouTube know that this content is viewed and engaged with, and it pushes it out to new audiences. It helps the channel. So hit that like button. Secondly, I want to let you guys know, if you have not seen already, I have a link. This is through NetEase, through developers. It's through their top-up center. This is linked down below. If you are still spending in Rise to War, if you're not, hey, no disrespect. There's a lot of differences in opinion when it comes to spending happening. But if you are spending and you use my top-up link down below, it supports the channel as well. It doesn't cost anything extra. All you do is go to the link, go over here to server, put in your server or put bag end if you're in bag end, then put your player ID right here, and then you'll put your information in. If you do that one time, it'll save it all and you don't have to mess with it. But you can do everything you can do in the game here. You can actually do things a lot faster because you can buy multiple things at once. So if you're wanting to buy multiple bundles and whale out, more power to you. But again, it's not for everyone, but it does support the channel. So if you're looking to do that, that is linked down below and it's very appreciated. But let's hop over to the actual guide for Shadow. And as always as well, this sheet will be linked down below. And as we do more and more videos, there'll just be more options. So there's a good chance if you just look down at the spreadsheet down at the very bottom here, you can see there's a couple different ones. We've done Dane, we're looking at Shadow, we've done Sistaro, and we're working on some other new ones as well. But starting out with the Shadow, he's going to be very similar in terms of gear to Dane, being that he is primarily a physical damage dealer. I mean, again, that's the best way to build him in my opinion. So he's going to be doing physical damage. So we want that high attack gear. So we have our Axe of Khazad-dûm, Cask of Pride, Berserker's Raiment, and Palantir of Orthanc. Those are the best in slot, statistically highest items. Obviously, we want that commander attack on our weapon and our accessory. So both the Axe of Khazad-dûm and the Palantir have that, as well as the black bow and the drums as a secondary option. So we're looking for commander attack stats. We're looking for that high attack, which is kind of equivalent to what might used to be. So those are the top gold options there. Then when we get to purple, we have the battle axe, full helm, scale mail, and bone talisman. We have some blue options down here as well, which again are not as ideal, but if you're just starting out, you got to start somewhere, right? So no shame in the game. We got the Uruk-hai pike, the skull cap, the leather armor, and the round shield. Those are going to be all of your gear choices. And then we have our ideal sets. So we have Might, Perseverance, and Warcry. And I've highlighted these in gold. I want to make sure you guys can see this. I've highlighted these in gold here because if you're running primarily gold gear, like best in slot, first 1, 2, or maybe 3 options, I think these are the best sets to run. A secondary set for Shadow I think is great is Fortitude. It's just a straight 10% damage reduction on physical damage. Another one that you probably could put in this like purple category is Sharp Blade. It's not going to hurt what he's doing and it does go along with it, but the better the gear, the better some of these percent base effects can be. And Perseverance, you know, gets up to 20%, but the last round Might is 10% physical damage. Warcry is 30%, but it's in the earlier game, which he can do a lot in the earlier rounds. So all these are fantastic. So the better your gear, if it's gold, kind of lean into these sets if you can. It also, something we've talked about kind of multiple times, but if you guys don't know, I would not break apart your gear to force sets. So don't start running a combination of like blue and gold gear to run the Might set, because I have that up here like this. If you're running primarily top 1 or 2 options for gear, even 3, don't worry about sets. If you have the best gear statistically, let the sets come later. However, the further you move down the list, the further you move down towards the purples and towards the blues, these sets start to get more valuable because you have less stats that you're getting from your gear. So if your gear is worse, not worse, I don't want to make it a negative thing. If you're newer, you don't have as good as gear, whatever you want to call it. If you don't have the kind of best of the best gear, sets can play more of a role. If you do have the best gear, it's worth using that. So hopefully that makes sense. If that's confusing, just comment and we'll get it sorted out. But again, sets are not everything. It's very nice, but the better your gear is, I wouldn't worry a crazy amount about it. So that's the gear situation. And again, I do want to point out too, I don't know if I showed this in the last videos, but we also have a tab down here. I'll click on it here and I'll pull it over so you guys can see it. But it's this tab that says items. So if you're looking through Shadow or anybody in the future, and you are looking at your Axe of Khazad-dûm or your black bow, if you don't have the Might or Perseverance or Warcry and you're wondering, well, what are all the other, like, what are the other gold items? Because maybe you just don't have those. You can use this sheet. It's pretty simple to use. You have to sort here. You click this filter. You can sort by hand, accessory, armor, head. So if I want to just look at the hand weapons, I can do that. You can also sort by flawless or epic. So if I just want to look at golds, I just sort by flawless. And then we're going to go over here and we can sort by these different stats at the top. So if you are interested in seeing kind of on a bigger scale what your account looks like and what your options are, this is kind of what we look at, or at least think through when we're doing like account reviews, for example. So again, if we're looking at the shadow, same thing for someone like Dane. We want commander attack. So that's this one right here in this column. So I'm going to sort by this. And as you can see, we have the Axe of Cause of Doom. And the reason that we're going for that is because it has this commander damage. We have commander damage here, plus that. Gigantic Hammer, while it does have a lot of commander attack, does not have commander damage. So we don't want that. So then we go to Blackbow next. Then it's Blazing Tongue, then Cruel Hook, so on and so forth. So you can do that with each of the items. And if you look at the guide, you can kind of see what those things that we're looking for are. So if you can kind of look at the Axe and the Blackbow and say, okay, they have this primary stat and they have these like main secondary stats, and you can go through and sort. But if you guys ever have questions, feel free to shoot me a message or comment, because we can go through in more detail. But whatever your commander's doing, you can sort by that thing in the sheet. If it's a unit attack commander, someone who's buffing troops, and Gigantic Hammer is fantastic, highest command and unit attack in the game. So anyway, just wanted to show that section of the sheet because I hadn't yet. And for those that want to go beyond this a little bit, like you want to dip your toe in the water of like learning a bit more, you can do that. If you're just like, nope, blinders on, this is all I want, then I have that gear stuff for you here. So anyways, continue. This is kind of getting long, but again, I think it's important. Next up, we have the skill order priority for Shadow. As you see here, we're listed out 1st through 4th. So first, again, you are going to need an R5 Shadow, and this build assumes level 50 R5. So the more respect you have, the faster you'll get here and the more you can do. So just keep following the same order. But first of all, we're going to do Shape of the Void, 10 out of 10. Next, Undertaker, 10 of 10. We're going to put 1 point in Black Numenorian. The way that works right now is worth the 1 point. And then your last 2 points will go into Hunting Expert, the R3. And if you have more points, you'll just keep putting more points in Hunting Expert as you go on. But again, that's a build for Shadow. He's fantastic. He's someone that I've ascended to Legendary, and I think it's absolutely worth it for him. It's expensive, but he is putting out crazy levels of damage. A note on his Relic before we wrap up, in terms of usually we just give these a pass or fail, because you could probably do your own video talking about, all of them, and really diving in. But in terms of a pass fail for Shadow, I am going to say this gets a pass. I will say with Relics, they are non-refundable, at least like without major support intervention, which I can't seem to get, but they are non-refundable. So make sure you do your homework before. But in terms of a simple pass fail scale, it is one that I got. If you get good rolls in your stats, it's great. And again, you're using trolls with it. So the only thing I will say is I don't love the idea of using mountain trolls, because then he's taunting and starts taking more of the damage and his units are going down faster. Whereas even using tier 2 trolls, hill trolls, something like that, still allows him to get this damage reduction. And as it gets refined, you're going to go up to 36% less damage, which I think is pretty decent. So again, I think it's a good option and you can play around with your formations. But in terms of a pass fail scale, it is going to get a pass from me. But anyway, that is the video on the Shadow. More to come soon. We've got Sauron coming soon. We've got Gil coming soon. We've got lots of other commanders coming very soon. So stay tuned. Comment down below which ones you'd like to see. And again, this spreadsheet is linked down below. And like I said earlier in the video, if you are spending in the game and you want to support the channel, it doesn't cost anything extra for you. If you use my top-up link down below, that does support the channel, puts food on the table. So it's appreciated if you guys are doing that. But that'll do it for this one. And as always, I'll see you guys in a future video.